Eureka!
Woo! Applause. Hello. All these fine-looking nerds in the house. Give it up for yourselves for coming out tonight. Woo! Yes. Nerd Nation. I'm Kevin Whittinghill.
And I'm Alan Sakyan.
And we host Eureka, so thank you for coming. Yeah. Another weaker applause. I appreciate that. Who's been here before? Well, to this show. Not to this planet. Though that's a hint of what's to come. Cool. Okay. Cool. You have, all right. So if you don't know what Eureka's about, it's a science comedy show. We have an amazing guest lecturer tonight. But it also involves you. Because he's going to ask questions to you, and you're going to try to get the answer correct and win a prize for it. We call it a Eureka moment. So we can test that out. Let's pretend that I am like the guest scientist. I'm an expert on my pant size. And I ask, hey, what pant size do you think I'm wearing right now? 29, 28, Jesus, 32?
Huge as fuck.
Huge as fuck, that's below the pant. Okay. The correct answer is 14-year-old teenage boy. That is my pant size. It has been since I was 14. Thank you. 30 actually is the correct one. So, you would have gotten the prize, and you would have gotten something since it's big as F.
And we do say Eureka at the time that you answer the question correctly and bring you the prize. And
That's
so
right.
We do like to mention that Eureka's mission is to demystify science in ways that are relatable, educational, and entertaining.
That's right. We want you to laugh and learn. And this is a very special Eureka because it's part of the Bay Area Science Festival. Woo! What's going on right now? Have you guys been to the Bay Area Science Festival? Any of the talks, the shows? Yeah? Round of applause if you've gone, if you attended.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, it's still happening. If you have not clapped your hands, you still have till November 5th. Please check them out. BayAreaScience.org has all the different talks, all the different activities occurring with the Bay Area Science Festival. Please check it out. We're very honored to be part of the Bay Area Science Festival this year.
Yes, we are.
Indeed.
Indeed.
All right.
Yeah.
So we have a really fun guest. I'm very excited about this guest. Are you excited?
I am very excited.
Are you excited? I think it's otherworldly.
It is.
I think it is. It's almost like it's like first contact all over again.
Yes.
Are you guys familiar with the SETI Institute?
Woo!
Yes. Sweet. Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. So no like outer space trumps or anything. You have to be intelligence, then we find you. Oh, shebang. Here we go. So we have a senior astronomer,
Dr. Seth Shostak,
who will be coming out in a little bit. So it's going to be an amazing show. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to learn about the search for aliens, essentially. And we have some great comedians. We're going to introduce them now. We have Arthur Gauss. Come on down.
Woo!
Yes, Arthur. Hey, why don't you sit right there, Arthur?
Okay, hey, I got a Eureka question.
Uh-oh.
Did Arthur get merely high or super high before the show today?
That's a good question. Anyone have a guess?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Eureka, super high. Super
you
high.
win a smoke-out session with Arthur.
Oh, yeah, that's a...
How are you doing?
Value over $5. How am
Yeah.
I doing? I am doing excellent.
Excellent,
Thanks
excellent.
for asking,
And he's
baby.
a great comedian here. Now, you got some shows happening?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I'll be at the Punchline all this week if you
Oh,
want
wow.
to see me stand up. And
Nice.
then, if you want to come back here, if you're so enamored with this very space, you can come to the Maniac Bowl, which is going to be here on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. So mark your calendars, come and see it.
Excellent. All right, give it up for Arthur Gauss for joining us tonight. All right, another comedian who I love. So happy to introduce. It always tests my enunciation and tongue-twisting skills. Give it up for Daya Lakshmanarian.
Yeah.
How did I do?
Yeah, come on.
Did I do okay?
You did good for a white dude. That was
Okay,
pretty.
that's
You
Mostly how I
wore
do it.
appropriate
I wore
pattern.
my space dress today. Yeah.
Wow, that's spacey, intergalactic.
Intergalactic
So you're
planetary.
trying to learn every star, right?
Yes, that's
Yes.
right. You know, we'll have our special guest examine my dress.
Oh,
later on.
look for life on the dress?
No, yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about going on, or any upcoming shows? or
I
something?
do. Just to bring it back to Earth for a second, we have something called an election happening on this planet in the
Jesus.
Northern Hemisphere. I'm going to be doing a pre-election comedy show November 5th in Oakland, and another pre-election comedy show at the Punchline the day before the election. And then I also host the Moth storytelling series in San Francisco. Yeah,
Nice.
she's a fan, the one with the bike helmet, so she likes it. So please check out my website, Daya, comedy.com, and come to the shows.
Give it up for Daya, everybody.
Daya.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you. Thank you.
We ready to
Okay.
start this
Yeah,
show?
look at that,
Yes,
that's
we
us.
are.
Yeah.
All right, and your special scientist for today's evening is Dr. Seth Shostak. He is the senior astronomer at the SETI Institute. He's been studying astronomy for 35 years now, and for much of his career, he's conducted radio astronomy research on galaxies, published approximately 60 papers in professional journals. He hosts the hour-long radio science show Big Picture Science, so give that a check out. And he's written, edited, and contributed half a dozen books, including a textbook on astrobiology. So his most recent book is Confessions of an Alien Hunter, and that's published by National Geographic. Check that book out. And introducing Dr. Seth Shostak.
Yeah.
Give it up for Dr.
Yes.
Seth Shostak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome, Dr. Seth Shostak.
They look malevolent. Although I can't be sure because I can't really see any of them. But. Yeah, we know what happened after that.
So what do you guys think we'll be talking about tonight?
It's difficult for me because I have done a fair amount of search for intergalactic life, but mostly in John Coltrane albums, and no luck there yet. But I probably don't have the computing power that you do. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm wide open as far as this goes.
Nice.
Yeah. I want to continue the theme of outfits. I like that you're wearing a Carl Sagan outfit today.
Yeah.
Woo!
Turtleneck.
The turtleneck.
Yeah.
If only you had the corduroy jacket with the elbow pads, I would be so hot for
I
you
believe.
right now.
Yeah, that is called
you're-
astronomer formal. I believe that is the
There was a
style.
fire sale in Ithaca.
Oh, wow.
You leave the comedy to us.
He's a funny man.
I'm looking forward to speaking about E.T. and how he was the original inventor of text messaging. So he used a speak and spell to text people. So I thought that's what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
And he also had a lot of heartburn. That was pre-Rolaids, I think. So
I also, if I could just bounce back here for a minute, I'm probably going to make a lot of jokes about people getting probed. So, as long as we're cool with that at the outset, I think we can probably move along happily, right?
I think everyone was
know,
expecting
I-
that.
Okay,
I think
so
that-
we're just cool with probe jokes, audience, because, I don't have a plan B when it comes to alien material. It's all just probe this, probe that.
Well, I
probe,
feel that
probe.
aliens often say that when you probe a human, you just got to grab them by the pussy. That's
Yeah,
exactly what they.
yeah.
That's
I think
what
that
they.
is
That's
pretty
their. That's their
political.
prime. That's their prime directive.
Yeah,
I missed that Star Trek episode.
yeah.
That was late at night.
It was the one where Riker
The
falls in
Orange
love with
Menagerie, I think it was
Okay,
called.
yeah. Tribbles. All right.
I don't
Don't
think
laugh
we
at it.
answered the question, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So maybe we have Seth say a little bit about what you do at SETI.
I get to ask that question a lot, exactly. What do you do every day? And my answer to that is probably similar to the answer you all would give, which is to say, answer email. That's mostly what I do all day.
Yeah.
It's not productive. On the other hand, it seems to be obligatory. We're looking for life in space. I think all of you know that. Do you all know that? If not, I wonder what you're doing here, right? So you all know that. And we're doing it very similar to the way Jodie Foster tried to find some cosmic confreres in Contact, right? Anybody old enough to remember Contact?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. Love it.
Well, I can tell you a story. Maybe can I tell a story?
Yeah, you want to? Yeah.
If I
I'm
tell a
about
story.
to get
Jodie
some water
Foster?
now.
Yeah, are you guys here for the education or the entertainment? I mean, really.
Yes.
Both.
Yes.
Half and half.
Oh, they're greedy. Okay,
Arnold
well, let me just
Palmer.
say, no, I mean, we were advisors for the film, right, the Contact. So just about every day, the Warner Brothers art department, mostly it was the art department, would call me up, and they would ask questions like, all right, Seth, what does it look like when you fly through a wormhole? And I said, well, I can only tell you what it was like 2 weeks ago when I most recently did that. But I would say, well, in most films, what they do is they say, animate something that looks like you're flying through a pig's intestine, right? But in reality, if you get close to the speed of light, this is something you may not know, but you can use at your next cocktail party. If you actually get close to the speed of light, the whole universe collapses into a point of light, bright point of light in front of you and a bright point of light behind you. So I said, so that's what it would actually look like. I said, but of course that's visually not quite so interesting. So they said, okay, thank you, click. And then they animated a pig's intestine, as you recall. Well, there are many more, but,
Right.
it doesn't teach you anything.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yes, what we do at the SETI Institute. All right, so we're...
Yeah.
I forgot the question. Yeah, well, so we're looking for life
Hang
in
out
space,
with
of
Jodie
course.
Foster.
The Institute, in general, is looking for life in space, and most life in space is probably not going to be very clever. It's not going to be the intelligent variety. I mean, there are probably a lot of bacteria, but they don't need to probe you. I mean, they just go in through the mouth and set up shop in your stomach and die.
Yeah, I got probed in Tijuana one time like that.
Yeah, exactly. Those kind of probes you might get on Mars. But so they're looking for life on Mars or the moons of the outer solar system. The group that I work with, is in fact looking for intelligent life. And since there's some question about intelligence here, our definition is an operational definition. If you can build a radio transmitter, you're intelligent. So you can ask yourself that question. All right. So that's it.
I'm
So-
in trouble.
What if you can leave an internet comment? Does that make you intelligent?
Yeah. An amazing Facebook argument, huh?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
intelligent.
All caps, baby.
All caps.
Anyhow, so that's what we're doing. And to answer the inevitable question, have we found them yet, or are we close? Obviously, we haven't found them. If we found them, I wouldn't be here, right? I'd be on my way to Stockholm. So that's for sure. But are we close is a question you get a lot as well. And this is a one-bit experiment. There's no matter of being close. It's maybe like pregnancy. Are you pregnant? No. Are you close? I don't know. It's Saturday night. Maybe you're close.
I'll remember to tell my girlfriend that.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we start?
Let's do it.
Let's jump in.
Yeah?
All right.
So, as you guys know, we will have the series of questions, and the first one, and we will ask the comedians first and hear their response, and then we will ask you guys, which is bigger, Pluto or Earth's moon?
Are either of them bloated at all? Is this? There's nothing like they have gas, right? Pluto has any gas?
Well, it's pretty cold on Pluto.
No gas.
And there's-
Okay.
Yeah, there's not much gas on the moon.
No
either.
bloatation. Because I know I'm always larger when I have a lot of atmosphere in my stomach.
Gas-free, yeah.
If I were to venture a guess, and I'm going to start by assuming that we're talking about only the part of the moon that is made of cheese, right? So if I were to say if we count only the part of the moon that is made of green cheese, probably Pluto, right?
That's pretty good. Yeah.
I would take a little issue with the modifier, they're bigger, because I feel like Pluto or Earth's moon, I would measure it by Twitter followers. So definitely Pluto, because it feels ostracized,
All right.
Yeah, it's not,
All right.
it's not the
Audience,
size, it's the motion.
do we have an answer? All right. Let's head up here first.
I'm going to say it's Earth's moon.
Is that correct?
Eureka.
Eureka!
Well
Nailed
done.
it.
Wait. What did I say again? I said Pluto, right?
Yeah.
God damn it.
All right, here is our little prize box. Might as well get the big one out of the way. Thor's alien hammer. Feel that. Feel the strength there. Oh, it's too much. It's too much.
Wow,
Klingon
it's
whack-a-mole.
beautiful.
Now I have absolutely no idea what you would use this for.
Probe.
Okay, probe. We understand.
Probe.
Oh, you mean it's turned this way?
Yeah,
is what you're
probe.
saying. I had no idea.
Probe.
You wanna deliver this
Let's do it.
mighty hammer?
Congratulations,
Good job.
that's nice.
Congratulations. Hopefully you're not violent with the audience members around you. Let's see what happens.
And so, Seth, why is that the first question? Give us a little bit of.
I don't know. I had to come up with some questions. Well, most people think. Look, I guess it really goes back to the fact that Pluto was, when I was a kid, still undiscovered. But later, when I got older, it was discovered, and it was originally a planet. You may remember those days, right? There are many people who want to go back to those days. And planets are generally considered larger than moons, right? In fact, the definition of a moon doesn't really have so much to do with its size. You could have a moon the size of the Earth. Remember Pandora in Avatar, where all the people were blue? Yeah, so you could have that. But in the case of Pluto, well, it's no longer a planet, but it's also smaller than the moon by a considerable amount, as you can see from the numbers here.
Are you just saying that Pluto should probably get a better agent, is what you're saying?
Well, I'll tell you what went wrong with Pluto. The problem with Pluto, if you really care, but the problem with Pluto was that a guy down at Caltech by the name of Mike Brown found a couple of bodies farther out than Pluto, quite a bit farther, more than twice as far as Pluto, and at least one of them was bigger than Pluto. Okay, so the question is, are you going to call that a planet too, or do you demote Pluto? It's strictly a classification problem.
And why couldn't we just add another planet?
Yeah, well, there are many more out there. There may be thousands.
Yeah.
I heard it's not the
That'd be
size.
tough on kids.
I heard it's not the size of the planet. It's like the motion of the orbit. That's like
Yeah.
what's more important.
Yeah, well, that does play a role.
Yeah.
But Pluto's orbit's very.
It's sort of like letting DC into the United States, then like we screw up the whole flag just for those assholes, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Pluto is like the Puerto Rico of the universe.
I wasn't going to say Puerto Rico.
Why?
With
Why
DC.
is? Why is everyone like, oh, like what? Why did people get sad?
said DC.
Why? I feel like Puerto Rico's good because their economy's collapsing. It's sad. Like Pluto, like they started, with the robust economy, and then they elected like a Trump-like figure, and then they just built a bunch of casinos, and that's when the whole planet started going down.
They lost the planet status.
That's the
now.
why they
Probably.
got demoted because
Mostly
of
an
that.
ice-based economy, if I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Ice Baby was actually,
A lot of popsicles there, if I recall, from my days in high school.
So did Pluto lose Twitter followers then when he got demoted?
I feel they did. Pluto lost a lot of Twitter followers, but then Pluto just came out and said, I don't want to be on this platform anymore, and then was on Snapchat for a long time. And then Leslie Jones, came out and said, I stand with Pluto. And then Twitter stock price went down. And so you can see how planets have a destructive effect on our economy in general.
Like a
And, like-
TED Talk now.
Yeah.
And candidly, any planet could accidentally send a dick pic to everybody on the internet.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I mean, that's,
That would be
Oh,
a
yeah.
problem.
Uranus is like the Anthony Weiner of the solar system. you
Yeah,
know?
that freaking pervert does whatever
Yeah.
it wants.
Yes.
And Pluto sends one unsolicited dick
yeah.
pic.
I mean, if you get an email from Anthony Weiner or Uranus, don't open it.
Yeah.
It's probably junk mail. You know what I mean?
It is certainly junk mail.
Don't let it into your solar system, I think is what we're trying to say.
I feel like there's a sphincter right there. Like,
Yeah.
do you see that?
Oh, boy.
I immediately, was like,
That's
Are
how
there
they got.
any
That's
kids
how they
in-
got the cheese in.
that.
man.
I feel like that was a real setup for you to make a probe joke.
I know, I was
and
about to
you
say,
lost.
where's the probe
Yeah.
callback?
I told you, man. I was high. Anyway.
Okay, so let's move on to the next question.
Okay.
And for Earth's, for the comparison to Earth's diameter is about 12,000 miles.
Earth is about 12,000, 6,000 radius. Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
cool. So it's just a little bit of insight for that. So I just wanted to say that Bill Nye is one of obviously our favorite scientists. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
of course.
Truly one of the great guys of science.
Yeah. Yes. And he frequently asks, and he asked you this at Sketchfest, and he said these are two of the most important questions: is where did we come from, and are we alone? And that used to be the name of your radio show until you switched to Big Picture Science.
That was the name of my
That-
dating life. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Are we alone?
I mean, is that a statement, or do you have a question in there?
Just because it's those are huge questions for
They
us.
are.
and-
Well, I tell you, in my limited experience, the questions that the public is most interested in when it comes to astronomy are three. Certainly one, is there life out there? But the other questions are, something about black holes, because black holes are kind of pathological, and everybody wants to know, what it would be like to visit a black hole, drop into a black hole, whatever. And the third one is cosmology. Where did the universe come from? I guess that was another question.
It's cosmology, like when they use blush and
Exactly.
lip liner,
That
and
kind of
you
cosmology.
got to have a technician because I went to a cosmologist once and she totally ruined my eyelashes. It was disgusting. I hated it.
Because that changes everything for our
Totally.
existence. Totally.
Yeah, bad makeup
I-
job, you're done.
Like if your pores are bigger on a given day, it just ruins the elliptical orbit. You know,
Screws
Just-
up
It's like a big bang on your face. It's awful.
All right,
Okay.
we'll move forward. All right, what fraction of stars have planets? Comedians, what do you guys think?
What's multiple choice? 1 in 10, 1 in 2, more than half.
Okay, so can we take this with the caveat of the fact that we don't know how many stars there are?
No, there are 1 trillion stars in the Milky
Yeah, but
Way.
What fraction of
there's
stars
just a
have planets?
fraction. You don't need to know any absolute
Or
numbers.
is it one? It's 1 trillion planets. My bad. So it's 200 billion or 200 billion stars. In
Well,
the
so
Milky
you just
Way.
answered the question.
Oh, yeah.
Oh!
You gave it away.
Ooh,
Well,
Man.
are you able to do that math? I still have to go back to 1, 2, 3 here. A, B, or C. I'm thinking A. So I'm not going to calculate that. There's hot lights on me.
I'm going with 1 in 2 because I heard him use a word that had a 2 in it. Right?
Then I have no choice but to go with C then.
Yeah, that makes it easy.
All right, audience, do we have any answers? All right, let's bring it up here.
Probably a lot more than half.
Eureka.
So C. C it is!
Woo!
Eureka!
I was
Okay,
right.
but
I
probably,
was right.
probably.
I was right.
You were
I was
probably
right.
I was right.
Let's
What-
take a
what
look.
prize are you thinking of?
Klingon fast food.
Klingon fast food. What would that be like, Seth?
Well, it would. It's very old. It's probably no good anymore.
Let's turn you into an
Ooh, I
alien,
like
shall we?
Yeah, very
Shall we?
nice.
I like. Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Someone's popular with the ladies.
Yeah, those would be killer at a Smash Mouth concert too.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Is it possible for a planet to have a star because the planet is bigger than the star?
Well, if the planet is bigger than the star, the planet is a star. Okay.
wow.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, that's actually a good question because Jupiter's pretty big, but it's not a star except in films like 2010 and so forth.
Yeah.
So if you make Pluto twice as big, it's still a planet. Make it 3 times, but if you make it 13 times or more, its present mass, right? Then it gets so hot in the central regions that it begins to produce energy, nuclear reactions. It turns into an H-bomb on the inside. And so it becomes a star. I know it did it in the movie, but it was a little unclear. That was alien engineering. So it's hard to understand. So, yeah, if a planet has something that big, it is a star.
The alien engineering, like, we need to build a wall to keep them out. I
Yeah.
feel like they're
I was
taking
gonna
a lot
say.
of jobs
Yeah.
that white Americans need.
They're not taking my job.
Like the H-1B visa to
Yeah.
Jupiter just gotta go, man.
I got kicked out of my apartment for some alien engineering, man.
I know.
Yeah.
His name was Ravi, probably. I'm sorry.
So, Seth, give us an explanation of this.
Oh, yeah, well, I just thought I'd show a whole bunch of graphs here because nobody would be offended by that. Well, see, what's plotted here is the effect of inverse Compton scattering on the forbidden yttrium lines in the atmospheres of peculiar A-type stars. So many people asked.
Obviously.
Was that Tourette's? What just happened there? Like it was like, and the centrifugal force of the like it was.
No, I'm just.
And I speak 3 languages. I was like, what the fuck was that, man? Like that was cool.
Did you know that CP30 spoke 6 million languges?
C3PO?
Yeah.
Oh.
Only one of them was identifiable.
And he's still not out of the closet, dude. Like he's overcompensating.
Well, I just wondered that he only had one friend. Okay, now what you got here is just
He prefers
these are,
lover.
These are planets found by the Kepler Space Telescope. So that's a NASA space telescope.
By the way, we just hosted Dr. Natalie Battaglia, who is the Kepler mission scientist.
Yeah.
from NASA.
Yeah. So she probably showed this slide too. But there have been something like 4,000 planets found with that instrument, and this just plots vertically how big they are. So 1 means the same size as the Earth, and 10 means 10 times the size of the Earth, so it's like Jupiter. And then that's diameter, right? And horizontally is how long they take to go around their stars. So, the Earth goes around 365 days. Many of you will have noticed that. So the Earth would be down here. There, right? That's kind of the Earth. You don't see many dots down there, right? It looks like, hey, wow, they haven't found any other cousins of Earth. But that's because those are the hardest ones to find. That'll get filled in.
I feel like my orbital period comes in every 30 days. So I don't know where that is on the scatter dots there, but some spotting does occur in that middle region.
I think it's near Uranus, if we look and calculate it.
Clearly, you haven't been with a woman in a long time. It's not near the Uranus.
Oh, really? Let me break out my,
Oh, man, that
my
explains
Is the
a lot.
instruction
clitoris
book.
somewhere on that scatter plot? Because I think Kevin needs to find out where that is.
I think the G-spot's somewhere in one of
Oh,
those
dear.
vectors. I have no idea.
But they could be in a habitable zone when the orbital period would be less, as long as they're closer to the star than the Earth is.
Yeah, two ways that could happen. If they're closer to the if they're closer to the star than the Earth is, and the sun is like our sun, right? Then you can cook eggs on the sidewalk if there were any eggs, because there won't be any chickens. But there are plenty of stars. In fact, the majority of stars are dimmer than the sun, right? It's just like the majority of people are dimmer than you.
And those are
So
called red dwarfs.
Red dwarfs. And so for those,
There's
if
a
you-
little
if you go
star
around
going
every-
on over there. Wow. No.
If you go around very quickly, so you're very close to that star, then maybe you get just the right amount of energy to encourage a salubrious climate for you.
Did you say red neck dwarfs?
How to tell if you're a red dwarf?
Okay, yeah, I
They
didn't know.
prefer red little people, actually.
Wow, you're sticking it up for the little guy.
Yeah, I'm only 5'7", yeah.
Oh, dude.
I'm only 5 feet, so I feel, like.
Okay, sticking it up for her then.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
totally.
Yeah,
Thank
see,
you.
I told you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
there you
Thank
go.
you.
A quick follow-up with the antennas that are at the Allen, what is it, the Allen Telescope Array. Are those antennas pointed in the same areas as the Kepler? Is that working?
No, it's not working, but it doesn't matter.
Oh.
I'll grab it. Let me take a look.
Here we go. All right. Yeah. Obviously, we look at a lot of these, objects because they're known to have planets. But in the old days, it was a big deal. You found a star with a planet, it made the front page of the paper, right? Today, not only is there no paper, but it wouldn't make the front page because after you found 4,000 of them, the public gets a little jaded. Not that they weren't before. So, in fact, we do point at some of the better candidates, but the facts are, and that was question number 2, right?
Yeah.
Or that's this question. The majority of stars have planets, right? That was the correct answer. We don't know, 70, 80%. For an astronomer, that's the same as all.
I feel like even if we did discover a new planet, the front page of the paper would still be Hillary Clinton's emails.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that's the problem. It would still, some celebrity couple would have
She
broken
should
up
email
that
about
day.
the planets.
yes, yeah.
How do you know
Brangelina.
that all these stars have planets? How do you?
Well, what you see, do you really want the answer to that question? It's
Wait,
simple.
Uh-oh.
hold on a second. Do we really want the answer to that
Well, I don't
question?
know.
Is it going to be like, well, we
Hold me.
waterboard nuns and they tell us? Like,
I thought it was a setup. Okay, but sure. The way it works
That's funny.
is that this telescope just stares, and it's doing something different these days. But for the first 4 years of its life, it would just stare at 150,000 stars. That's what it did. It was a light meter for 150,000 stars, and it would just measure every 30 seconds how bright they were. Okay, and then occasionally you'd see, oh, this one got 0.1% dimmer, right? And okay, that's but then 212 days later, it got 0.1% dimmer again, and then 212 days after that, by the third time you say that's something moving in front of the star, a planet. Clever, huh?
Yeah, that's what
Transit
I was going to say.
photometry. And it's really difficult to identify that because it's like looking at a hotel, seeing all the windows at a hotel in New York City, 80 stories worth, and all of the lights are on, and then all of a sudden somebody like turns the shades down by an inch.
Well, it's like a big fly flies in front of the window.
I feel I'm like dimmer every 5 days, but I think that's because it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I drink too much. They just-
Cool. All right. Question 3. If you took NASA's fastest rocket to the nearest other star, not our sun,
seat, right? Oh,
how long could you expect to sit in a middle seat eating pretzels?
no more than 45 minutes. I can tell you right now.
How
I'm
big
gonna
is the
have to
bag
get
of
up and walk
pretzels?
around. Yeah.
That's the
This
question.
question, I feel, was very sensitive to those with peanut allergies
Yeah.
because they said pretzels rather than peanuts. That's very advanced, I think.
I would get a super dry mouth if there's no water either. I mean,
Yeah,
this
is someone going to come
It's
and
like
bring me
Southwest
soda?
Airlines. Is not getting.
with a bag will be bad. Appropriate for that. No, it's going to be. You're going to need more than one bag.
Okay.
All right. Let's.
Is this assuming constant acceleration, or like you get full burn and then you run out of gas and then you just go?
Well, NASA's fastest rocket burns for a couple of minutes, right?
All right.
As long as the trip takes more than a couple of minutes, you can forget the acceleration.
Audience, any ideas? All right.
Yeah.
10,000 years.
10,000 years.
Yeah, or he has to give us a prize.
Oh,
Okay.
bag of pretzels.
I mean, you don't have to get it exactly
Yeah,
right.
what is the
Yeah.
plus or minus on the correct
Yeah,
answer?
0.1% or something.
Close enough.
40 years.
40 years.
40 years.
That's a fast rocket.
Which one's closer now?
Yeah.
Yeah, hotter or colder?
Yeah. The
Dimmer?
guy's very optimistic.
Dimmer?
That's
Yeah,
a tenth
dimmer?
the speed of light. No, we haven't gotten rockets that go that fast. If we did, yeah. I'd be on one.
Can
yeah.
Geordie make it so we go like faster?
I
in
think
these-
he keeps
no.
bumping
I think we
into
know the answer to that.
bulkheads.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
600 years.
600 years.
Are we getting warmer?
That's really a good guess, but wrong.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
very good.
All right.
Wrong
Let's
guess.
have Seth.
Anybody
give it.
else?
Anyone else?
Come on, you can't lose now.
Can't lose. This is like The Price is Right.
All right. We
Okay,
have
we got
have
some up here.
I think you're allowed to win more than one prize, right?
Yeah.
If someone
No.
gets another question right.
About 100,000 years.
I'll say Eureka to that one.
Eureka!
Oh, wow.
If we take NASA's fastest rocket, it's going to take 100,000 years.
Well, at least 75,000, depends on.
How long will it take if we take the Parliament Funkadelic mothership?
Ooh.
Well, I don't know the speed on that thing.
Well, we just ride the intergalactic rhythms of the universe, and we'll be there in just a few minutes, baby.
Remember when Newt Gingrich wanted to go to Mars? Did he ever call you about that and was like, what do you think, bro? Like,
Go to Mars? Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So we
No,
have.
I would have been like, hey, Newt, that sounds like a great idea. Why don't you blast yourself into
I
space
know,
in a
right?
rocket, and I'll
Exact-
meet you there?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Mars isn't nearly as far.
So
I know, but that-
100,000 years, and you only have one bag of pretzels. Who's planning this trip?
Yeah.
Is this NASA? What are they doing?
It's-
Sleep
it's
at
a
the
matter
wheel?
of- It's a matter of saving weight. There's maybe another slide here.
They'll be
Ooh,
fine.
pretty.
That's this is an artist's impression. That's the NASA New Horizons spacecraft, which you may remember about a year ago went by Pluto. That's the fastest rocket that NASA has.
How
And
fast does it go?
You know, about 10 miles a second. That's not 10 miles an hour. 10 miles a second, which means you could get to Milpitas in 4 seconds if you want.
Yeah.
If you wanted to go to
Yeah, I
Milpitas.
know.
Right,
Right.
exactly. Now you got a second
The
problem.
artist seems to have done the interior design for Trump Towers as well. Like, look at it, it's so blinged out. It's very gold.
It's beautiful. It's really beautiful.
Gold's useful for these things.
So it would take at 10 miles a second. It would take 100,000 years
More or less.
to get to, and that's 4 light years away. Is the nearest
Yeah,
star?
4.2.
And is it just one person and their bag of pretzels? That's it? They have to
Well,
like
see, that's the
make
thing.
a
I mean,
friend with a bag of pretzels. I'm sorry I have to eat you, Mr.
Do they at least-
Wilson.
do they get cable? Do
you
they
got-
get one of those screens in front of them?
You got to fit in that too. That's the thing. NASA's fastest rocket is really not appropriate for this. You need a bigger rocket, and you might say that the way to solve that problem, because 100,000 years is longer than you want to sit in a middle seat, is to make what they call a generation ship, right? The sci-fi people know what that is, where you put 1,000 humans in the generation ship and just let life go on.
Well, if
but-
it's San Francisco, it'll be all dogs left by the time it lands.
Oh,
No childbearing
Yes.
humans will be on that.
No,
Well-
that will last exactly one generation until there's like a bunch of teenagers born on a spacecraft
Yeah.
being like, "Shut up, Dad! I didn't want to be born on this vessel."
Well, that's true. I mean, what they say is true. I was gonna
see?
say,
Thank
it might,
you.
It might
Who's
be
the
funny
scientist
too,
now,
but
right?
but it actually is true because the sociologists have looked at this, and you take the men start fighting over the women. Everybody, and then they start killing one another within less than a generation. Essentially, everybody is dead. And by the time they
Wow.
get to the next star, it could be a whole new species, even if they did survive.
Yeah.
And they certainly don't know what to do when they get there.
Yeah,
So-
the USS Somalia is not a really great idea, is what I'm hearing. Like,
So we can't breed our way to another planet, is what you're saying?
Well, no. Maybe suspended animation might be the way to
Alright.
go, but there's a difficulty there, and that is nobody knows how to do it.
yeah. I've tried to breed my way to another planet before.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, it's real nice.
I was kicked off a planet for breeding.
Yeah.
So some of the, like you mentioned, some of the psychological testing that happens on even the ISS, for example, if you're uploading data and it doesn't get uploaded, they'll say, re-upload the data. Well, you're not going to reply like, oh, you didn't get the data, because then you're not going back to the ISS. So you calmly say, okay, no problem, I will re-upload the data, because you're constantly being analyzed.
Wouldn't it be weird if this ship arrived at an alien planet, it opens up, it's all these just dead humans? The aliens are like, who gave us this?
Yeah,
What is
exactly.
this?
What an
I have to
asshole.
clean this up? What?
Exactly.
Just
Just
30
like
stinking dead humans.
They land and
Yeah.
just like a bunch of bodies tumble out, and then the sewage hatch
Yeah.
just explodes, and there's 10,000 years
Is
of
this a
feces all
prank,
over the
Morlock?
place.
Oh, you.
Yeah, that would be a very like Earthling thing
Yeah,
to do.
it'd be-
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, here you go, guys. You deal with it.
Deal with it.
Yeah,
All right.
it's like garbage out of New York.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Question 4. What's the name of the mountain currently being climbed by NASA's Curiosity rover? And has the rover already found evidence of Martian life? So, you guys know?
The name, guys, not Mount Shasta, is it? Because I heard aliens live beneath Mount Shasta.
Yeah.
That's a California thing, if you know that. Okay.
That's where the Allen Telescope Array is by.
Well, it's not,
Yeah.
40 miles away, yeah.
But the name of the mountain, I would name it Makeout Point, right? Okay.
I don't, the second part, yes, there were some itty bitty water type
Like a
ancestors,
candy wrapper or
like
something.
bacteria.
Yeah.
Like something from like a long time ago, like a little thing.
Yeah, like a tab cola.
Like a
Yeah.
like a small, like a something small.
Yeah.
But the mountain, I don't know, like Mars's version of Mount Rushmore. It was like just 4 like little bacteria heads or something like that.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah, it's Dirt Pile Mountain, is that what it's called?
All right.
No.
Audience. Yo. Oh, who asked?
I think we got
me?
some answers.
Let's go ahead. Let's take it up here.
I think it was Mount Sharp.
Eureka.
Eureka!
Eureka! Woo! And for
Mount
follow-up,
Sharp.
The
Yes.
follow-up
Can,
has
can
the
she,
rover
can she go for
already.
the bonus round?
Yes.
the second part?
Yes.
You-
Has,
you
has
know
the
the
rover
second
already
part?
found evidence?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Unless she gets both.
Gets both.
Yes.
Sweet. And what we have for you is the Apollo Luna rover metal model kit. So you can put that together and have it
Yeah.
climb your
Metal-
own mountain.
Yeah.
Metal
Wherever that
Earth.
may
Metal
be.
Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, Metal Earth.
AC/DC.
That was the name of the radio show I had in college. You're back on Metal Earth.
Metal Earth.
Nice.
She scared
Oh,
the cat.
another question over here, I think.
Oh, we have a question? Yes? Hold on.
She has the hammer, so we have to listen to her.
Oh, yes.
The latest thing that Curiosity just explored was the Chocolate Hills, right on the slopes
Willy
there.
Wonka?
Yeah, it was just on Twitter yesterday.
They call me
Yeah.
Chocolate
Hang on.
Hills sometimes, you know.
I was gonna say,
Okay.
I think Parliament is definitely going to get to that first, right? Welcome to the Chocolate Hills.
So what's the significance of this, Seth?
Well, this
Ooh.
is, you can put this in the glove compartment of your car, because this is a map that shows the path of the rover.
Here, you can use this for laser if you want. No? Okay.
All right. So, it landed here, and it's somewhere here, and it's going up there. It's not a small mountain. It's, what is it, 15,000 feet or
Is it
something?
really?
Yeah, it's 18,000 feet.
Jesus.
18,000 feet. And, this thing goes at the speed of a bug or something like that. I mean, it can't go too fast because it has to avoid killing itself. by
Falling over.
Coming off a cliff or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to take a long time. But do you know why it's doing this, by the way? It's not because it's there. Do you guys know why?
No, I
I was going to say because
Tell
it's
us.
there.
Yeah, well, that's a
It's
good
not.
guess. But wrong. Okay. You don't know
You
why?
want-
We're-
why
we're
would it go up
leaning
there?
forward. We
Well-
wanna
I
tell
mean, wait,
us.
why is a rover?
Maybe so it could go back down, like shred, like serious, like snowboard style.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
down the
mean, why
mountain.
is it doing it? Because like we
GoPro.
sent it to Mars to do something. Like, I mean, it's like, what is it gonna do now? Just,
Because
like,
it was grounded
just
from
drink
Earth.
tea.
you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
Well, I'm disappointed. You guys paid for this,
Oh, that's right.
Well, that's the next thing I wanted to talk about.
It's a great stand-up show at the top of the mountain. That's
All
what
right,
he's trying.
I'll take. You all know, right? This is an educated audience. All right. It's
What are you trying to
because
say about the panel?
if you look at this mountain, we have better photos than this. If you look at the mountain, it looks like it's got layers of sediment. It looks like a layer cake, right? So it looks like there was
delicious.
time. Yeah. Well, if you like rock, it looks like there was standing water on Mars in its past. So when you're at the bottom of this mountain, you're looking at stuff that's 3-4 billion years old. You go up a little bit, it's only 3 billion. Then you go up a little farther, it's 2 billion, 1 billion. You get to the top, and it's kind of today. All right. So that gives you the whole history of water on Mars. And if you find, oh, wait, hold it, 2.5 billion years ago, this layer, whatever this layer is, right, some layer here, you say, well, there was a lot of water, and it was there for maybe a couple of 100 million years, maybe it cooked up something. So then you send something else to get just into that layer and see if you find any remnants of life. Because the second part of this question was, have we found any evidence of life? No, not on Mars.
I
Not
think
yet.
the nougat layer is what caused
yeah.
the Mars bar
The chunky one.
to
yeah.
be
Chewy.
invented, because
That's
there's
true.
the water layer, the nougat layer, and then the milk chocolate, which scientists have discovered that's the chocolate hills that we discussed earlier. So happy Halloween.
Yeah. You should be like a marketing genius here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
I have a quick question here. And I forgot what it was because I showed up high to the show tonight.
Yeah.
Was it
it's
an- was
Something
it an
about the
egg?
intelligence of the panel, I believe.
Yeah, what would qualify as evidence of life? Like, what will make you, as a scientist, say, like, yep, that is direct evidence of life?
It is actually an easy question to ask, a hard one to answer. There's no good definition of life. You might not know that because you probably all took 10th grade biology, right? And they always start in the beginning of the biology book. Life, metabolizes and it moves and it reproduces and all this stuff, a laundry list of things that typify life. But you can always find exceptions to that, right? A mule, is it alive? Well, it's alive, Bob, but it doesn't reproduce, right? A fire metabolizes, it consumes fuel, but it's not alive, and so forth. So if you think about it a little bit, you realize there actually is no good definition of life. I mean, is a virus, is it alive, is it not alive? And maybe you resort to the Justice Potter definition of pornography, I'll know it when I see it, kind of thing. But that doesn't work if you're going to spend a couple of $100 million sending some motorized skateboard
Have they
to
found
Mars.
porn on Mars yet? Is the
I
next
guess that's the
question.
question.
Yes.
Has they found
Like
porn
I
on
see, I
Mars?
see like the Mons there. It's
Yeah.
like that's the
That's evidence of jaded life, I believe.
And Trek to date. Someone wants to date.
But
Oh, that's true.
Just to tell you, I mean, that's the whole problem. In 1975, right, they sent a couple of landers to Mars looking for life, the Viking landers, and the results were ambiguous. They were ambiguous. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that it's very hard to define life, not as we know it, Captain. So that's
Would that
all.
hold up in a courtroom? If I want to,
I'll handle that one. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, as far as we know, we're alone. That's
No. It just means we haven't found anything yet.
Oh, okay,
But
happy.
Look, if you look at it under a microscope, and there are a whole bunch of them, right, with more or less the same structure, even if they're 3 billion years old, you'd say, well, that's not geology. That looks like biology. Admittedly, it's uncertain.
Oh, but like, what if because this is alien life, it may not look or act or distinguish itself characteristically in any way that is identifiable to us because we only have the universe of Earth that the universe of life on Earth. That's the only thing that goes on
his
in
hair.
our brain, right?
I think what you're saying there is we might not recognize it.
Right.
Yeah.
Far out, right?
keep smoking, brother.
Yeah. What if like the planet? Well, anyway.
Well, we might not. I mean, that's
It's like
that's the problem.
this guy comes up to me the other day and he's like, "Hi, I didn't I mean, we went on a couple dates, but I didn't recognize him. Is it like that with life on Mars?" We're like, "I think we hooked up, but I'm not sure." So it's kind of awkward.
If
you
it
know?
stands up and moves, then it's probably alive.
Yeah, we're like, what if it is trying
Sounds
to like
like him.
contact us?
It's totally.
That would
I think
require
that's
further
my game.
experimentation, I think.
Yeah, what if
Yeah.
it's like it's trying to contact us, and it's like the way that it communicates is too foreign for
And
our
that's
ears.
why we broke up. I mean,
Yeah,
I really,
exactly.
I was like, it's
What if-
too much.
Yeah,
too
what
pushy.
if it's out there on a planet being like, habla español, right?
No, I don't think so. No.
All right, let's move on to question 5. Why are aliens who were once little green men now all gray?
Because they're older, dude.
That's a good point, yeah. Vitamin deficiency, perhaps? Not enough cocoa butter?
Okay.
I think that's a good answer.
A little green?
I think
Not
it's
gray.
because of the 50 Shades book, because it's sexier now.
Yep.
50
Okay.
Shades of Gray aliens?
Yeah, I think so.
Tie you up, beam you up, and then the probe joke, I believe.
Oh
goes
yeah,
there.
because
Yeah.
long,
Just the- yeah, come
long
on,
time
man.
probing. Yeah.
Audience?
Silence.
Cricket.
This is a harder question. But on the other hand,
Ooh, we have
the
a
prize
guest.
is no better.
Ooh.
Well, I think it's because they figured out that Jocelyn Bell's first pulsar discovery was actually a natural phenomenon, and then the Roswell bullshit happened. And
Oh, who's saying it's bullshit, bro? Who's saying it's bullshit?
I am.
Okay.
We cleared that up.
So what was the first part? Jocelyn?
Jocelyn Bell. All right,
Ah.
she was the grad student at the time who was working at Cambridge, not the one in Massachusetts, the one in England. And she found the first pulsars, actually. She didn't get the Nobel Prize. Her thesis advisor got the Nobel Prize. But Jocelyn
As
Bell,
it should be.
Bullshit.
Yeah, what a-
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Well,
What a dick.
nonetheless true.
I know.
But yeah, so Jocelyn Bell. But for a long time, and I think the gentleman was referring to this, for a long time when they didn't know what they were, which is sort of regular pulses, radio pulses from space, psh, 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 and nobody knew what that could be. And so for a while they just called them LGMs, little green men. And they were I mean,
look
I
at
don't know how
this.
serious they were, but they were semi-serious because they didn't know what they were. And so maybe it really was. I mean, nobody knew what color the aliens might be. So I think that's the reference he was making to the LGMs of the pulsar discovery in the mid-'60s. And now you say they're gray because of Roswell. I think you got that backwards. I can't give you much credit there. I mean, it was an intriguing
That was so
answer,
good,
but-
though.
it was good.
Yeah, that was.
I feel like we
Another
should give
one.
him something.
We'll give him a little
Well-
antenna. Yeah.
I think it has to do with alien abduction stories, that the people who've
a
reported
good
being
point.
abducted by aliens
And
reported them as
probed.
gray.
And probed.
Only gray guys would abduct anybody? I think
Yeah, because
Did-
they like as
it's a bit of a generalization.
Yeah, yeah. That,
Come over here. I
Maybe
got
there's-
something
are
in the
more-
spacecraft. Come over here.
Are more astronomers colorblind? Is that part of it?
Now, all right, nobody's going to get this.
No one's going to get this? Nobody?
All right.
no.
What's the
I
answer,
That's
Seth?
gonna-
Yeah.
Well, I don't know the answer.
Oh.
No, wait. But I have some idea.
oh
Here-
my
here's-
goodness.
This guy, Whitley Strieber. Anybody heard of Whitley Strieber? One guy. All right, that's
Yeah. He's my
he wrote
accountant.
Communion, dude.
the sign of an ill-spent youth.
Ah, ha, ha, ha. Look at him. Look at this guy.
Yeah, well, Whitley Strieber wrote this true story. If you really think it's a true story. He wrote this true story, and suddenly these guys come into his house in upstate New York, whatever, and they're gray. And after that, aliens were gray. So I think that's what it
Really?
is. I mean, it's an iconic, aliens, next slide, actually. There's another slide here. I just want to show you your standard alien, right?
Oh.
And
Yep.
Standard,
Standard.
alien.
Right.
This is a Silicon Valley joke.
Uh,
All right, I said standard aliens are gray, and as I point out occasionally, because it was pointed out to me by a biologist, this is merely a projection of what we think we are going to become, right? Because we're losing our hair. These guys have gone all the way on that. We're losing our olfactory sense, our dentition, right? These guys have small noses, small mouths, small bodies, because they're not doing physical work for a living, right?
Big
These-
brains.
can never
these
get
guys,
it up.
Look at those eyes. They design websites for a living. So that's so that's what life will be like a million years from now. That's what it is. It doesn't say anything about aliens. But Hollywood continues to use these guys. You can tell them whatever you want. They will continue to use these guys because they are so instantly recognizable as aliens. They don't need any backstory. Right?
Okay.
It's an alien bomb.
Okay, I have a question. What happens if we discover life on other planets and it's intelligent life, but it's exactly like the original series Star Trek? Like it's just like humans in weirder pajamas.
Yeah. Well, I think I'll eat a bug.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
Okay.
But we can all agree that that would be cool, right?
Do we have any questions right now? Hold up.
Oh, yeah. I like this.
Just want to remind you about Kodos and Kang, the aliens in The Simpsons, who are definitely green.
Yes. they're definitely
Okay.
green and
It's a little
slobbering.
competition.
Yeah, I must say, I once wondered whether green might not be a better color for aliens because then they could use photosynthesis to make their
Yeah.
own food, and they wouldn't have to, drive through In-N-Out Burger. But you can work it out. I mean, I did work it out. Work out how much energy falls on you if you're just sort of walking around like a green alien, and is that enough to power your gusto-grabbing, free-living lifestyle? Is that as good as eating, a burger, for example?
I think if you're anywhere close to a star, aliens should be brown or black, right? Like no one has designed
Tanning.
one that looks like me because
Well, maybe, but it turns out if all your skin is chlorophyll, you still will lie around like an alligator most of the day because you don't get enough food that way. Being your own salad doesn't work.
Do you
I
have
thought
do
about it.
you have a favorite fictional alien? I mean, look, you
Uh-huh.
can level off with me. I'm some
Yeah.
dipshit comedian,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
You
Well,
don't
I
have to-
don't know.
Yeah.
I like the Alien in Alien, the first one. I mean,
Oh, so you like dangerous, violent aliens.
That's pretty good,
it
man.
pops out of your tummy. I mean, you know.
Oh,
Okay, the cute
aggressive,
kind.
aggressive.
Was that was neither green nor gray?
No, I don't think so.
You know who I like on Sesame Street? The yip, 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 yip,
Yeah, quality alien. Quality
like,
alien.
I like those. They were what's that? They were many colors. They represented the diversity of our solar system.
You felt included.
And their language was very simple. It was based on Morse code, I believe. So I think they were cool.
Me, I'm a Jar Jar Binks man myself.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Hate me. Hate me.
I got to go with E.T. The original.
That's
yeah,
true.
it's classic.
E.T.
Can ride a bicycle. Has some talents.
Well, you can say something about E.T. too. Actually, you notice that he had that wrinkly brow, the big eyeballs. He was a kid. And that's why he was a good alien.
Because he was not
So that
old.
if you're afraid of these aliens, why do you want to find them? If your favorite alien pops out of your stomach,
Well, I clear.
what are you
something
hiding
that's-
from us, Seth?
No, I mean, I just thought he was appealing because he had big teeth.
Okay.
And by the way, that's why we're interested in aliens, right? I mean, you're interested in
The
anything
teeth?
with big teeth. Check out Animal Planet. How many stories do they do about gerbils, right? Not many. They do them about sharks and lions and snakes, anything that might be a threat to you, right, or was 100,000 years ago.
Are you trying
so
to tell me?
kids are interested in dinos because they have big teeth,
Oh.
and they were interested in alien because he had big teeth, and you're still interested in aliens, even like little E.T., because after all, there's survival value in being interested in a potential competitor or maybe a mate that lives on the other side of the hill.
I wonder if Big Teeth works in the dating scene. What do you think? Hi, baby. I have teeth like a lion.
Oh, we have a question on
Yeah.
that.
You got a question?
Are,
All right,
are
hold up,
questions
hold up.
allowed?
I love this audience. They're so.
So I was driving around the backcountry of West Virginia about a year ago, and I stumbled on this Green Bank telescope thing, and it was cool because I discovered that there's like this radio quiet zone, which is like 13,000 square miles in the middle of nowhere, where you're not supposed to have like microwaves and Wi-Fi and stuff. So is there a quiet zone around like all of the radio telescopes, or is that just like a West Virginia thing?
Well, yeah, you're right about that. I don't think there are too many other quiet zones, actually. Our Allen Telescope Array is up near, if anybody knows where Bernie is, you may know where Reading is. If you go up to Reading on I-5,
Oh, yeah.
extraordinarily interesting drive.
Totally redneck dwarfs
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, exactly.
You make a right turn, you go into the mountains about an hour and a half, then you come to the telescope. But I don't think it's a quiet zone. However, we have had visitors to that observatory. Some young couple came in, and the girlfriend explained that her boyfriend he had problems in his brain. You know, things were going wrong, and he was always on the lookout for radio quiet zones. He would visit radio observatories because he felt that it would be better for his brain.
And his tinfoil hat, maybe. Oh, okay, sorry. I didn't mean to pick on the guy.
So wait,
Oh,
so
that's
if you're
so sweet.
yeah, so that's up in Shasta County, right? The Bernie and Reading, that's up in Shasta County, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it is.
Well, let me ask you this: in your scientific opinion, who is going to reach the outer limits of the universe first, the residents of Shasta County or the SETI program?
I think you're trying to say something there.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I thought that was fucking hilarious. I'm gonna be honest with you, man.
I was in Reading once, and they have this is not a joke. They have signs all over Reading that say "Foster Parents Wanted." Like that's how sad it is in Reading. Like that whole town needs like a foster mayor. Like it's like very depressing
An
there.
alien father.
That's why it's a quiet zone because people are sad.
Let's move to the next one. So we got
so
totally
we're
sad
on fire
here.
right now, you and me.
All right, Stephen
Stephen
Hawking
Hawking?
has said
All
that
right.
we should not answer any radio signals from aliens. True or false?
True or false?
I don't know about this one because Stephen Hawking, while married, answered a lot of signals from a lot of ladies. So he literally had an affair while not being able to move much. So he cheated on many women. So I think that he wants all the alien chicks for himself,
Maybe
which
it's-
is why he doesn't want to answer.
It depends
the-
whether it's a female alien or a male
I think
alien.
so. I think if it's
that's-
a chick, he would be into the
Like,
signal.
yeah.
I think
Phone
it's
home.
probably because if he doesn't want us to pick up the phone when aliens are calling, it's because like he probably knocked over a liquor store in alien land. You know what I'm saying? Like,
He's afraid he's going to get caught.
yeah.
He does look like kind of guy who would knock over a liquor store.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, here's my wait. Stephen Hawking says that we should not answer any radio signals from aliens. How would we know they're from aliens? Stephen Hawking.
Good point.
Audience, do you guys have any answers? Okay, I saw some
It's
hands.
50% chance.
Hold on.
You could tell from the area code. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
exactly,
Like
right.
if it's like 510, definitely.
Aliens.
You know,
Yeah.
818 for sure.
That's true.
But why did he say it? Is it just 'cause he's a
Eureka.
dick?
Eureka!
True.
He's
Give him
concerned
probably
that they'll
prize. What's the prize?
What's the prize?
Wait, well, let's have him explain why he thinks that.
It's an inflatable Stephen Hawking.
Well, he's concerned that their technology's more advanced than ours, and they would compete and defeat us.
Yeah, that's more or less it. I mean, if you send a message, hi, we're the Earthlings. We got a lot of used cars to sell you or whatever.
Oh.
That tells them where we are.
This is a baby alien egg
Oh, look. Is it?
Oh.
with goo in it.
Is it edible? No.
We can find out if this
exactly.
guy
I
is
think
brave
we're
Because I
enough.
can't tell if it's like a squishy thing.
Yeah, I
or
think
you
it's
can-
squish. You can open it up.
What?
What if
see.
you answer the radio signal? It's like a debt collector,
Sick.
and
Yeah,
you're
what if-
like, oh man,
Oh, this is coming to you,
oh
buddy.
nasty.
Wow.
Look at this.
It's a cool prize.
What if it's a prank call?
that
What
on
if
your
it's
desk.
like,
Foster
hey,
dad right here.
Yeah,
we're the Earthlings, and it's like, hey, do you have Prince Albert in a can? And you're like, what?
that prize is. We got that actually from Planned Parenthood. So thank you for our sponsor.
Oh, Jesus.
As a woman,
That's-
I can make that joke. Okay, guys.
Right. That's beyond probing.
Yeah.
All right, so why this question?
Well,
Don't initiate contact.
I think they get it already. Look, if you betray our presence, maybe most of the aliens are kind of, gentle, peace-loving critters that, I don't know, want to export their poetry or something like that. But on the other hand,
Oh, I like that.
But
They're
in
like
a-
sensitive dudes.
no, not me. I don't like poetry.
My
but,
bad.
Well, that's the end of the slideshow, I suppose, right? But in any Darwinian system, of course, a little bit of bad behavior pays off for the people who engage in it, right? A little bit of criminality. Because it can give you an advantage if you don't get caught. So any
Everyone's-
Darwinian system will have bad behavior. So maybe some of the aliens there are badly behaved. You've let them know, and then your tombstone reads, responsible for the obliteration of Earth, which is a bummer.
What if they're like badly behaved and it's like girls gone wild who are trying to
Yeah.
initiate
Or what-
contact?
what-
like
yeah, what
that,
if they're- yeah,
that,
what
that bad behavior might be okay to Stephen Hawking. Like he would.
Well,
Yeah, what if it's
listen.
bad behavior, like they're just idiot teenagers and they go like smash houses in the suburbs and videotapes and put it on the internet?
So no aliens with leather jackets. How about that as a rule?
Yeah.
Like greased back
That was
hair,
good.
leather jacket. No. I've seen the movie.
There was something there, but I've forgotten what it was. Yeah, the aliens might be bad behaved. I mean, I think that this is kind of a silly thing. I should say something that anything that Stephen Hawking says is immediately interpreted as being extraordinarily profound, right?
Yeah.
If Stephen Hawking, gives you his preferred dry cleaners, I mean, I'm sure that the British papers will, write a lot of stories about
Sure.
that. And I don't think that he really was saying very much here. It was sort of an offhanded comment. But the real bottom line is, it's too late to worry about this because SFO has radars which are broadcasting our presence into space.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
And not only that, but would anyone want to contact Stephen Hawking with that resting bitch face right there?
Yeah.
You see, he's like, do not knock on his door. Look at that. He's like-
What if they're what if it's a race of alien like big fat party animals? Like you just want to hang out with them all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like, guys, you want to get a pizza? Woo!
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, that would
He
be.
looks like he's into it, yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly he's into it. So what would we do then if they came and said, hey, we're gonna take
only-
over?
I've only heard two
Deport
good
'em.
answers to that. What's your answer?
Deport?
Deport, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, we'll put you in charge of that.
Yeah.
You're the dude.
Well, I do get phone calls from people, usually in the film business, but they say, now, the Pentagon has a plan to deal with this, doesn't it? And I doubt that they do. I mean,
Has the Pentagon ever contacted you? And-
well, in some indirect sense, I get, no, I guess not.
well, but could they? Okay.
All right. Yeah.
But
Okay.
could you add something to the signals we send out, like "Hello, aliens, don't fuck with us"? Hello,
Yeah.
alien. Something.
Yeah. Well, but look, here's the thing. If the aliens can come here, right, their technological development is maybe, 10,000 years beyond us, or maybe much more than that, because it's very hard to travel between the stars. So, the idea that you could take them on, as they do in the movies all the time, is extraordinarily naive. It would be like the Roman legions taking on the U.S. military. Might be fun for about, 5 minutes. So, So the good answer is here to what do you do if they
Don't
show
initiate.
up? Either you buy a lot of pizza, you take your girlfriend up into the mountains and disappear, or you try and negotiate.
Hey, you know who's a good negotiator?
Yeah, I was gonna say like
November
what's-
8th.
Yeah, what's our opening
Say.
price right here? Like, what's our real price? If we're negotiating with the aliens, what do we
Silence
open
on
with?
that
Like, okay,
joke.
guys, listen, I know you want to destroy all of us, right? But how would you like a trip for two to fabulous Spokane, Washington, right?
Sell
Or
that.
Reading as a
Or
punishment.
Reading, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. That was good.
Okay, so we have no answer. We are dead meat. is what
Don't
we're trying to
initiate
say.
As a
contact.
native son of
He
Reading.
wants to play hard to get.
Oh, yeah, just to show
Oh.
you.
This is Seth's
It's a
horse,
visual-
by the way.
Pony. Is
Visual
that their
cue.
prize?
Because of the aspect ratio, this horse is a little longer. That's just to show you that,
He
that this whole business about don't transit, that horse has left the barn. Get it? Okay, that's it.
Okay. It's a long. Badoom boom ching.
All right. What fraction of the American public thinks that Earth is being visited by extraterrestrials and some UFOs are alien craft?
What does that mean?
Okay.
UFOs are alien
Some
craft?
Well-
Yeah, are any of the UFOs actual aliens? I mean, they're buzzing the skies
Right.
all the time.
Oh,
Right,
I see,
but are
I
they
see.
aliens?
Not from our government or, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
not from.
I think B.
Ah.
B.
B, 30%?
Yeah, I think that's America.
Can we have D, 110%?
Yeah.
Let me,
Right.
I'll tell you, like, 46% of Republicans think Barack Obama was not born in the United States. So
Yeah.
I think B is a pretty good answer.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, what fraction of the American public? Like, do we mean like undecided Missouri voters? Because like, I don't care what they think.
I
Like,
think if we extrapolated Ken Bone, it would be C.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly, yeah. Okay. If I'm gonna venture a guess here, I'm gonna say.
Oh, you're guessing?
Oh well, yeah, exactly. Listen, based on what I know from Sun Ra albums, I would say 30%.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, audience. Do we have any answers? Who hasn't answered yet?
Interplanetary.
I'm gonna go ahead and guess B, 30%.
Thank you.
Eureka.
Eureka!
Yes.
Let's give him another. He's got nice hair. Give him.
Interplanetary.
Yeah, that was
Turn him into an
nice.
alien.
Good.
All right.
See, that fits on your little.
So, what's this about, Seth?
Ooh.
Oh yeah, right.
Oh my gosh.
This is the best
see
of
this?
the UFO photos.
Oh my
I
God.
mean, how many of you think that some of the UFOs are actually?
Can people see on this side or should we move?
I'll read
Okay,
that.
hold on. I'm
Insofar
gonna
as they need to see it, but how many of you think that actually aliens are here visiting Earth?
Have you met my
They're
neighbors?
afraid
I'm
to
freaking
admit it.
convinced of it.
Don't be afraid to admit it. There won't be too much punishment. Okay, 1 to 3. Is that it? Something wrong with
Sometimes.
this audience. They've been this giant colander out there filtering them out. Okay.
Didn't trust that
Yeah,
guy.
they look like us, right? They often do in the movies, or at least in the 50s they did. All right, now this photo of a flying saucer, which I maintain is about the best around and has been used on the covers of several magazines, is a photo I made in my garage. That's actually a lampshade. I found it in an abandoned shopping cart in Mountain View.
Nice.
Wow.
That's true. Now,
So you
over
have,
here.
you have hobbies, apparently.
Yeah.
He sells.
Yeah, it's the only hobby that pays
Yeah.
anything. All right. This was a CNN poll from 2002, so it's a little
my
bit old, but
God.
not that old. Because the results don't change no matter when you do this poll. Over the last 30, 40 years, they haven't changed. I'll read a couple of these. Do you think a UFO crash landed in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947? 65% of the American public said yes.
Wow.
Right? Now think about it. The aliens have come who knows how many hundreds of light years. I mean, that's hundreds of trillions of miles just to visit the land of enchantment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
that's-
it's a Tex-Mex cuisine. I don't know what it is, but they get within 50 feet of New Mexico, and then they make a navigational error and crash into the dirt.
And Neil deGrasse Tyson has said that if the aliens come that far and crash land, then he doesn't even want to meet the aliens.
Well,
Yeah.
he said that, but I mean that's fully equivalent to you driving across country and then tolling your car on the garage door. Just pulling the driveway.
That could happen.
But 65% of Americans think that. And by the way, there's a very good explanation for what happened at Roswell, and it doesn't involve aliens. But we could talk about that.
Well,
more if
I
you
was
want
going to say, there's no statistic up here for how many Americans can't tell the difference between an alien and a person from Russia.
Oh, because
That's a
it's
good point.
Russians who crashed. Yeah, there is that theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Stalin sent over a bunch of deformed kids.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Probably is, yes.
I don't.
It's a very bizarre.
That's
It's a
horrible. Oh my God.
It's a
Let's
bizarre
get sad again.
story.
Oh,
That's probably
weird.
probably not true. Okay,
Ugh.
is the U.S. government hiding the fact that it knows of the existence of aliens? 80% of your neighbors say yes. The same government that couldn't keep Anita Hill quiet for
80.
2 weeks.
Oh.
80% of you idiots think that? Oh, man.
Could we quiz the audience now? Let's see where they
Yeah.
land on this.
Right, but you
How
don't-
about
don't live in
Roswell crash in New Mexico? Was it aliens? Applause if you think it was aliens.
Yeah.
That's kind of like
Yeah.
6%. Now, if you think no, applaud. Oh, that's flipped around. We have a different demographic in this.
Yeah.
And how about for the government is hiding aliens? If you think it's yes, applaud.
Wow.
More.
Hiding
No.
aliens. Oh my gosh, that was closer than
We
I
didn't pull
expected.
this crowd, did we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, like,
Hiding aliens.
well, no, the
Interesting.
American government.
What's the real Roswell story? I'll tell you what I think is the real Roswell story. I mean, there's 6 of you you're not going to believe me. I hope you.
Yeah.
I just hope you
Please
won't-
leave. We
won't
don't wanna
hate
blow
me
your
forever.
mind.
Won't even- I gotta tell you, I was at a conference down in Santa Clara yesterday called Alien Con, and it was all the aficionados of Ancient Aliens, the TV show.
Oh, yeah.
And I was definitely persona non grata. But let me tell you what actually happened. In 1947, the United States was very keen to know whether the Soviets had the bomb. And how do you know whether they have the bomb? You try and detect a test. So they had this scheme. It was developed by a guy at NYU, actually, a physicist who recognized that if you go up to a certain altitude in the atmosphere, you come across a layer of air there which acts like a waveguide. It's like a tunnel for sound. Right? You have this in the ocean, too, actually, just temperature changes and so on. So the idea was to build a bunch of balloons that would go up to this altitude and then just stay at that altitude. There was some sort of feedback mechanism. It's called, whatever it's called. And they had a microphone and some electronics, so it would just hover. It was an aerostat, that's what it's called. An aerostat, and it's up at that right altitude. You launch this near the borders of the Soviet Union, and you just wait for a big bang. Right? You just wait for the sound of the test. So the U.S. Army Air Force Base, which happened to be just outside of Roswell, New Mexico, was involved in this. And so every couple of months, they were launching these big balloon trains. And of course, they all come down. Eventually, they all come down. So there was testing this technology. And one of them came down on this guy's ranch near Corona, New Mexico, which is like 35 or 40 miles outside of Roswell. And it was picked up by the rancher, and it caused this local story, which didn't go anywhere for a long time. I mean, the local paper carried it, but nobody seemed very interested until many years later. Books began to be written about Roswell by people who could make money out of the whole Roswell story. Now, I see you don't believe any of that. You think the aliens came to New Mexico.
All right.
I can tell
All
you
right.
that it's worth going. It's the best thing that ever happened to Roswell.
Yeah.
No, I've been there, trust me,
have
yeah.
Have we talked to
For
the
sure.
Roswell, New Mexico Tourist Board
Yeah.
and Better Business Bureau
I have an
about this?
awesome mug with an alien on it from Roswell, New Mexico.
Yeah, see, exactly.
And yeah, I do.
You should go to Roswell.
You should.
Okay, you notice that the lamp globes all have aliens on them, and right in the
Yeah.
downtown
Wow.
2 streets, and there are 4 stores selling tchotchkes of aliens, wind-up aliens, inflatable aliens.
Yeah, do you know what the city slogan of Roswell, New Mexico was before the whole interest was? It was Roswell, New Mexico. What the fuck are you doing here, man?
Still makes sense after the aliens crash, actually, yeah.
All right, next question.
Oh, wait a minute. Was there no picture? Of that last one?
That was it.
That was it. Oh, yeah, there was a picture. Never mind, sorry.
At what distance do even our most powerful radio signals become completely undetectable? 1 million miles, 1 light year, or 100 light years?
30% B. No, I'm sorry, wait.
It's a bit quantitative, but this is a
1 million.
highbrow audience.
Let's ask the audience.
Yeah, let's ask the audience.
keep going.
Yeah, I don't want to give it away, sorry.
Yeah, because I can tell you that. Like,
All right, hold up. We have an answer.
We got
my
we got-
radio station that I broadcast out of my basement.
C
is
100
undetectable.
light years.
C.
Eureka.
Eureka!
And why is that?
Oh, hold on. Why?
Oh, they got a prize anyway.
Partial credit.
The
Oh.
energy of the waves probably dissipate by that distance.
The what? The waves just sort of peter out? Yeah, well, they never peter out, right? You go out tonight, you can see some stuff, well, not here in San Francisco, but go 100 miles to the east or something, or to the west, and you can see a lot more stars. And just with your eye, which has an aperture of a quarter of an inch or something, you can see stars that are 1,000 light years away.
Peter Route's a scientific term, correct?
It is.
Okay.
So what happens? The reason that C is the answer is not because you couldn't pick up that signal. You could if you had a big enough antenna. You can always pick it up if you have a big enough antenna. The reason C is the correct answer is because we've only been broadcasting since the Second World War.
Yep.
So that's only 7 years. So
Yep.
100 light years, there's nothing to hear. Okay.
There it is.
Well,
That's
you
a
got
good
the
one.
prize.
And that same thing exists for us receiving their signals. They have to be broadcasting directly at Earth for.
Well, if they're not broadcasting directly at Earth, obviously that would help. But if they're not doing that, then they need a very powerful transmitter.
Because they need a lot of energy to ping it across all distances in all directions.
Right.
Okay.
This is the Allen Telescope Array up there
cool.
in celebrated Reading or near Reading.
Looks like a popcorn maker.
What if they just tried to send us an email and it went to spam? I would be sad. That would we just filtered it out with Viagra ads. And there was something important.
I also like how the search for extraterrestrial life is roughly the same discussion as the station manager at an AM talk radio station about how to get more listeners. You know what I mean? It's like.
We should give prizes.
Yeah, exactly.
2 tickets for this comedy show.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
So we got to move on. Look at
So
that.
since you're already showing the Allen Telescope Array, I had a question about it that I wanted to ask you. So Paul Allen donated money, and that's why it's named Allen Telescope Array. Currently, there are 42 antennas. Is that still correct?
That's correct.
And so you're looking for 350. And so can you give us a little idea of exactly what one of these antennas is, how it's engineered, and more information about it?
Okay. How many want to see the tech spec sheet? All right.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, it's straightforward, right? It's really simple. Radio waves come in, they bounce off this big reflector down here. That's about 6 meters, 20 feet.
Wow.
20 feet. So if you put one of these in your backyard, I mean, it would fit, but it would probably offend the neighbors, I suppose. Okay, so then it bounces off that secondary, this thing here, and then it goes into the receiver there. And the reason it has this complicated geometry has to do with the idea that you don't want to block too much of the primary mirror. Okay, you don't care about that. But that's the way it works. So these things all work together as a team, right? They're all aimed at the same spot on the sky at any given time.
At the same spot?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's because they're looking for different frequencies?
No.
No.
It's only to increase the sensitivity, and also it allows them to put, as it were, radio pixels on the sky. So you can look at this spot, that spot, that spot, that spot, all simultaneously. It's almost like a camera, right? And the number of spots you can make depends on how much compute power you have. All right, that's all a technical story, but with 42 of them, it's reasonably sensitive. There are bigger antennas around, but that's it. You can go see this thing. I mean, if you drive up I-5.
And so how did you guys decide to pick the specific place in the Milky Way that you're looking?
Well, every night we use this thing and we point in different places. We're now looking at 20,000 of those dim stars that we were talking about earlier. Got a list of them.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Let's jump.
Yeah.
Here we go. 9.
If scientists find a radio signal proving that aliens are out there, the government has a policy of keeping this fact secret until international discussions decide otherwise. True or false?
WikiLeaks. It's all under the bridge now. You can't hide anything.
Let me see here. Is there going to be is this going to be like a model United Nations? Like, if quick guys, we have aliens and they're on the phone and we need to get back to them, and be like, okay, we're going to have 114 rounds of deliberation, then 5 rounds of voting. I don't think that's happening. I'm saying false.
Yeah, what does Qatar think about this?
Yeah,
I don't know if that's
I'm
going to
going
work.
to defer to the distinguished gentleman from Mauritius.
Yeah, so so if scientists find a radio signal proving that aliens are out there, the government, first of all, the government, we all know that there's no coordination, right? I don't think that the government really, FBI says something, the Justice Department says something. So the question implies that we have a working government that can actually hoard information in a confidential way. So I would just say false for the reason that,
the Contra Costa County government.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, audience, who has an answer? Let's see up here. All right.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's false.
Eureka.
Yeah.
Eureka.
Eureka.
Another alien.
Yeah, like the international community can't agree on anything,
No.
like except that like we should have the
Not
Olympics
even,
every 4 years.
yeah, not,
right?
not even emissions, not even like
Yeah, exactly.
trade.
So young and so cynical. What? Yeah, there is a protocol, actually.
That's
Yeah.
the protocol.
See, to begin with,
A hockey riot.
Yeah.
well, that's right. It's Vancouver. Most people think that, in fact, if we were to find a signal, they wouldn't even be told. Not this audience, because this audience is kind of clued in. But they wouldn't be told because the public couldn't handle the news, like this public, right?
Raise your hand if you'd quit your job.
I would love to tell
Yeah,
these
how many
people.
of you would not go to work tomorrow if we found aliens?
No, I got a meeting tomorrow at 9,
Yeah.
so I'm
Yeah.
going.
That's pretty cool. If
I have a
people raise their
probing,
hands.
huh?
Yeah,
I'm bringing it back.
Is there like a take your alien to work day? That would be kind of nice.
There
Like
will
the-
be, yeah.
that'd be sweet.
And we're certain that these are not aliens walking among us right now depicted in this
Yeah.
photo.
No, but the gentleman's question, what about the protocol? There is one. I was going to put that in as a slide, but it's kind of uninteresting. It's just 3 sheets of paper with some writing on it. And all they say is, check out the signal, tell everyone, and don't respond without international consultation,
Nice.
whatever
Oh,
that
God.
is.
See, that's collaboration right
So
there.
that's like a
That's not gonna
Skype call
happen.
to your
Not
brother
necessarily.
in like
we would have been able to save
France.
the planet, except the guy from Andorra wasn't done talking.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, yes, that's right. The Andorran backgammon team can decide. But that's totally useless. I can tell you it's totally useless. Some of you may have noticed in the papers about 3 weeks ago there was this claim of a Chinese signal. Right? Did anybody see that? No? Yes. That the Chinese. I said Chinese. I meant Russian. The Russians, using their telescope in the Caucasus, had found a signal that looked like the real deal. And the papers really went nuts with this. But that shows what really happens. There was no reference to the protocols. Nobody cared about the protocols. Certainly the Russians didn't care about the protocols. All that happened is that the
Yeah,
media
Putin,
went nuts.
he really
And that's
cares.
what actually happens. Every time you get a false alarm, the media start calling immediately. That's what really happens. So if we do find a signal, the least reputable media will go with the story quickest. So if we find the aliens, you'll read about it in the checkout line.
Okay.
All right, last question.
Last question,
Okay, last
everyone.
question, here
One
we
more
go.
chance to win.
Why, in 1947, were aliens trying to land near Roswell, New Mexico?
This
Did
is
we already
irrelevant. We've
answer
discussed
that?
it.
Yeah.
We've discussed it. Forget this one.
First
Forget
of all,
this
like,
one. Yeah,
like
boom.
low taxes, lots of real estate available
I know.
cheaply,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, there's the Roswell Daily Record for the day after this stuff was found. And that's the guy, Charles Moore, from NYU, who was doing the project, actually.
And is this a real newspaper? Because I see it says miners and operators sign highest wage pack in history. That
Yeah,
can't be
exactly.
true.
I see
That's got to
that-
be false.
Well,
Yeah,
well, it
Hou-
was.
House
It was.
passes tax slash. No, see, the government is doing
slash
something
one.
there, so that's
Yeah.
false.
I think this is the Grand Theater in downtown Roswell, actually.
Oh, there
I
it
had
is.
never noticed that before.
It looks
But
like the
today,
Grand Lake
it's the
Theater in
UFO
Oakland.
Museum.
And this says here,
Oh.
you can't see this, but it says Roswellians, that's a term,
Yeah.
have differing opinions on flying saucers. Who would have guessed?
Yeah, no,
I had no idea.
never would
What,
have
This
thought.
is
what is that
exciting.
thing at the bottom? It says American lasagna wins All-Star game. Like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
amazing. I love that.
Also,
Go America.
Do you think maybe part of the problem here is that the headline editor of the Roswell Daily Journal just went with flying saucer? Couldn't he have said something else? Like the fact that he said flying saucer, was
Yeah.
that not intentionally going to touch off 60 years of lunatics yelling?
Actually, this was only about a month or so after the invention of the term flying saucer.
Wow.
See, that's how they
Look at
get
this
you,
one.
right?
I also think that we need to update the vocabulary. Like, who uses saucers anymore? Like,
Yeah.
That's true.
any coffee shop I go to, that you just drink it.
Yeah, it would have been
You know,
like
you just,
flying
have
Java jacket.
Yeah, like a sleeve, a coffee sleeve. It's
But
more.
going back to this was why they were trying to
Why?
land, which is different as opposed to if they landed.
I think the question is why in 1947? Because
Were they
that was
trying to land?
pre-internet and they wanted some privacy. I think that is why.
But you have an
they wanted-
answer too, so somebody might get close enough. We have one more prize we want to
We
give
have one
away.
more prize.
Well, no, I think the thing to do, I mean, forget the whole Project Mogul that I told you about.
Yeah.
Just who can come up with the most ingenious
A
How do
reason
you-
for
how
why
do
they
you
landed?
define
Okay.
ingenious?
How do you
enticement
find
for anybody to come to New Mexico?
Okay.
particularly That
Why
part
would-
of New Mexico.
Why New Mexico? Oh,
Why New
You won a
Mexico?
prize already. We got.
Why not Vermont?
Yeah, or Reading.
Well, yeah, because they were trying to start a religious cult.
Someone who hasn't won a prize. Someone who hasn't won a prize.
Or anyone who has an idea.
Everybody's won a prize.
Not everyone's won a prize.
Oh, well, we have our alien dude right here.
All right.
Who reads up on it, as we know.
This guy right here.
Oh, careful.
Flying saucer
All
right there.
Flying gas.
They're monitoring our atomic bomb activity.
Oh, nice. That's good.
right.
Trying to protect us.
That's
All right.
nice.
And then he have-
Benevolent.
Oh, we have another one over
One
here.
over here. Theories.
I think it may be a play on words, and the Americans and the British were just having a frisbee competition, and the Air Force
Oh, nice.
they caught the winning catch.
Friendly play. I like
Ultra
that.
secret,
Flying
ultimate
saucer.
frisbee. Yeah.
It was on a ranch because there's lots of open space.
That
that's,
makes sense.
That's certainly ingenious. All right, let's try some more entries.
Any other
Any
ideas?
I was on a tour in New Mexico, and my tour guide actually told me this. She goes, New Mexico is the home of the most people in the secret, what is it, the protection, like witness protection program?
Yeah.
And I'm
Okay.
like, if you know this, then it's not, it's not that secretive, So New Mexico has the highest percentage of witness protection people there. So maybe they landed there because it's the mafia. And they're like, I'm going to come get my people.
Well, I've got
And play
one.
frisbee with them.
And play
Yeah,
frisbee.
And
that's my far
check
out
for
theory.
nuclear.
No, there's the guy in New Mexico who buried $12 million worth of gold in where
Oh,
it
yeah.
left clues of where it is. Yeah, what's that guy's name? Yeah, no, there's a guy, but this guy actually
knows
did it.
everything.
Some idiot died looking for the gold.
Oh,
this
El
summer.
Dorado?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think the aliens were just trying to cash in, baby.
Oh, yeah.
So is there anybody else have an idea?
Any other thing? Huh?
Nothing. Oh, Sputnik.
Sputnik
Okay.
is a good one.
But
But why New Mexico then?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
why
I don't
New
get
Mexico?
I don't get the connection. Maybe there's one that's
Was New
too
Mexico a
subtle for me.
state in
Do you want to just pick
1947?
one?
You want to pick one? Yeah. Which one did you like the best?
Well, they were all brilliant, but I think the guy who thought that it was a frisbee contest. Cool. I mean, I think he.
All right. And
probably
we got a
needs
prize
that
for
prize.
you.
Ooh,
This
what
one's
is
very
that?
nice because of course, when the aliens finally arrive on Earth, and you want to take them, say, to meet your mom, you're going to need to fill a lot of paperwork, such as immigration petition for alien worker.
Yes.
We've got that one. That's only a couple $100. Interagency alien witness information record.
Yes.
Got that one.
Is there an alien immunization form?
Yeah.
We
Because
have
if they land in Marin,
petition
we're
for
all going to
alien
have alien
relative.
smallpox.
Yeah.
and immigration petition by alien entrepreneur. Okay, maybe they'll have an app.
yes.
And petition for alien fiance. Hey,
Oh,
baby.
Alien
Alien
fiancé.
entrepreneur.
And all these
I-
wonderful
Steve-
forms.
Steve Jobs was an alien entrepreneur.
I provide office solutions.
There you go.
Nice.
He looks so
All right.
excited to have the.
We do
I
want to
know,
leave a little bit of
paperwork.
time for some more questions from the audience and from us.
Should we give him a round of applause?
Wait,
for
yeah.
that?
Yeah, round of applause for that,
Yeah.
Plus
absolutely.
the set.
Yeah, no, because the slides are complete. I was just giving love.
You're giving love. Yes,
Just
indeed.
Yes, great job.
Yeah.
Before we jump into a few audience questions, I would just like to ask, what are some of your most profound memories or discoveries from the 35 years that you've been working as an astronomer?
Profound. That's presumptuous. I don't think any that were profound. Well, I mean, some of the most exciting things. 1997, we thought we had found a signal, and that was interesting for 24 hours. That was the length of time it took to figure out it wasn't. What
And
we
tell
thought
us
it
a
was.
little bit more about that.
Well, I was at home having dinner, and the phone rings, and it's the boss. It's the CEO of the SETI Institute. Normally, when you get a phone call from the boss at home at night, it's usually not good news. I was somewhat reluctant to pick up the phone. But in any case, he said, I think you ought to get down here. And I thought the next sentence was clean out your desk, but it wasn't that. He says, we picked up a signal. And indeed, we were using an antenna in Green Bank, West Virginia. That's come to the fore here. So, of course, I was in Mountain View. And we were just, I went down to the SETI Institute, and people were just arrayed behind these monitors watching the signal. And, the evening went on, and I kept waiting for the phone to ring. I kept waiting for the White House to call. They didn't call. I kept waiting for the the Men in Black to show up. Nobody showed up. And waiting for my mom to call. She didn't call. The mayor of Mountain View didn't call, and I knew the guy personally. Nobody called. But we kept watching this, and then of course, because of the motion of the Earth, the star system from which the signal seemed to be coming set. So there wasn't anything we could do for another about 12 hours. So I went back upstairs to my desk. I was half asleep on my desk because I hadn't, slept all night. None of us had. We just sat there. Nobody went out for food. We just sat there. And then the phone finally did ring, and it was the New York Times. They were interested in it. That was interesting. I told them, look, we're trying to figure out what this is. Can I call you back in 3 hours? And he said, okay, fine. And within 3 hours, we'd figured out what it was. It was a European satellite, and the signal just happened to be bouncing around the steel of the antenna in such a way that it would mimic what we were looking for. And so the New York Times didn't write anything about it. But had that been the weekly world news...
Did your mom eventually call?
My mom disdained any interest in this subject.
This is a touchy
Another question, because we're running out of time. I do want to ask this as well.
Sorry, ask it fast.
So you believe that this century we should find company?
Yeah, I
You've
bet
said
everybody
that.
a cup of Starbucks will find something within 24 years.
24 years, okay. And so talk a little bit about the tools we will have engineered and how those will work to find life.
Well, I mean, to begin with, you can increase the speed with which something like this scans the sky by changing the electronics, right? This is the age in which the electronics doubles in speed every 18 months. Everybody who lives in this area knows about that. And if you can find the money, the problem is this is all privately funded. There's no government money here. But if we had a little bit more money, we could build what are called backends, digital signal processing hardware that would speed up the search by 100 times. You could do that. And so if you can speed up the search, I mean, if you're on a South Pacific island and you got a shovel, well, there may be something interesting there, but it's going to take you a long time to decide. If you had 100 shovels with 100 people behind them, then maybe it would be much more likely you'll find something.
Okay, and the follow-up to that would be, so if DNA isn't the only coding for life in the universe, how else do you think life be coded?
Well, DNA, I think, is just won really it was RNA apparently, but it just won the race. It was the first molecule that worked. When I say worked, it meant it could reproduce itself fairly accurately, right? And as soon as you have a molecule like that that can just use some of the chemicals around it and make more copies of itself, doesn't have to be into, I don't know, literature or anything. It just makes copies of itself, right? And as soon as you have something like that, it begins to use up all the nearby resources, and pretty soon slight variations of that are a little better than that original guy was, and now you have Darwinian evolution, and after that it's a story that you know. So
what else besides nucleic
Well,
acids?
who knows? I mean, I'm sure there's an infinite number of molecules that could do this. I think DNA just won the race, and it may not have actually won the race. Keep in mind that in the early days of the Earth, there were routine extinction level events, as they like to say on the History Channel, right? Where you had the really big rocks, so there were a lot more big rocks flying around the solar system. So maybe, life began 4.2 billion years ago and it was based on XNA or QNA or who knows what, right? And then this big rock comes in, bam, sterilizes the whole Earth. So nothing happens for a while. Now you get, LNA, bam, right? And then finally, it's DNA, but there are no more big rocks. That may account for your biochemistry.
26 letters to choose from.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually,
Yeah, DNA. I mean, ENA is probably going to be into some weird shit. I can tell you that much.
Freaky.
All right, audience, do we have any
final questions?
Final questions? Yeah, let's go up here, and then we'll come back.
Okay, so I've heard that life came to us from outer space. That is, that it was brought to Earth on a comet or something like that. It crashed into the Earth. Okay, well, if that's the case, then we're all aliens right now.
Ooh, good point.
Right, so the aliens are already here, and what's to stop this sort of thing from happening again?
I'm naturalized.
Yeah, probably a wall built along the southern border, paid for by Mexico, obviously. Right?
All right. Do you want another answer? What you're talking about is called panspermia.
Oh.
right? The idea, yeah.
It's very kinky cooking.
Yeah.
Panspermia.
I used to think about that because they never talk about pan-eggy. They don't.
Yeah,
But I think it's
like a bad aim comet there, you know? Like.
Yeah, well, what it is that panspermia would work. It could be that Mars developed life before the Earth did. There are reasons to think that might have happened. And if it did, maybe, rock slams into the surface of Mars, bam, kicks off a lot of dirt, including some of these microbes that are in the dirt, and it takes, 30, 50,000 years for this thing to wander around the solar system, fall onto the Earth, infect the Earth, and you're all descendants, and you're all Martians. That could be true. No evidence that it's true, but that could be true. That works. But if you kick that clod, so to speak, if you kick that clod off a planet that's around another star, now the trip takes many millions of years. And the target is very small, as seen from that planet around another star. So now the chances that you're actually going to ever hit the Earth are very much smaller. And beyond that, the rock, whether it's a comet, asteroid, or just a rock the size of a boulder in your backyard, whatever life is in there is going to be suffering the deprivation of desiccation, no water, no liquid water, all that time. And then, of course, there's a lot of radiation in space, which is messing up the molecules. So the general consensus is that won't work. So if you're related to anybody in space, it's the Martians.
Yeah.
All right,
Nice.
and
Like
let's
it.
go ahead and.
Why do we think that aliens would communicate with radio?
Yeah.
That's true. Maybe a Spotify list they'll send to us. That's upgraded.
Yeah, Pandora.
Yeah.
With the ads, too. It's the annoying thing.
listener, first time caller.
Okay. Well, here's another answer for you. Now, radio waves are very easy to make. They're very easy to detect. It doesn't take a lot of power to send signals from one place to another, bits of information. Okay, and that's what you're presumably trying to do. And beyond that, radio waves, certainly at most frequencies, go right through the gas and dust between the stars. And the universe is very quiet in the radio, actually. In visible light, you can see stars. I mean, it's not so quiet. So that's the rationale.
All right, maybe one more question.
Yeah.
All right.
What keeps you up at night?
They've changed the flight patterns for San Jose Airport.
Oh. He's at the punchline next week
Yeah, I'm actually
with
opening
Arthur.
for him,
Yeah.
Well, if you're talking about work-related stuff, that's usually not what keeps me up at night.
What does keep you up at night?
Let's get personal.
Non-work-related stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, tell us. I want to know.
Well, look, I've got a mother who's 102 years old.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, well, let me reframe the question a little bit. Like, what do you imagine is the most realistic nightmare scenario that Hollywood should make a movie about?
All right.
Well,
I like that. That's a good question.
yeah, that's an interesting. I actually do consult for films. I mean, they do call up, right? Whenever there is a sci-fi film being considered in La La Land, the chances are fairly high that I'll get a phone call, particularly if aliens involved. And what the writers always want to know is, what weapons do they have?
Ah.
As if you know.
As if you know.
What weapons do they have? What do they look like? And why are they here? What incentive did they have to come to Earth? You have an answer to that.
Oh, no, I just think, isn't that awesome? They ask you what weapons they have. You can give them any answer you want.
Yeah.
They got rocks. They just throw rocks.
Yeah.
That's
also,
what they do.
You said that they consult with you
Peanut
particularly
butter.
when aliens are involved. Does that mean sometimes they call you up when aliens aren't involved, but they just think you have rad ideas? They're like, okay, so we think Adam Sandler.
Well,
what do you think?
Yeah, actually, that did happen about 2 weeks ago. Actually.
What? Tell us.
Yeah.
But never mind.
After-
Never mind. I mean, they don't call me up for musicals. That's true. But one of those questions is pertinent because the third question, what do they look like? The question, what should Hollywood do? Hollywood always has biological aliens, right? Like the little squishy guys. But think about it. In this century, we're going to invent synthetic intelligence. We're going to invent our successors.
Yes.
So the aliens have already done that. So the idea that the aliens are some sort of protoplasmic, maybe not DNA, but something like DNA beings, I think is extraordinarily provincial. I mean, to me, it's like the trilobites deciding that aliens would look like trilobites.
I want to
It's like a
see
memory stick
a
floating in
Miss
space.
Universe pageant with actual microbes and aliens, Miss Andromeda galaxies, just like a dot and with big boobs, just to level the playing field.
What's the
I think
talent
that would be really
section?
quality in our future.
But the majority of the entrants would be machinery.
Hot.
is.
Yeah, even better, baby.
Is there a swimsuit competition for that?
If there's water on their planet.
All right.
And of course, no talent.
So let's go ahead and tell you guys a little bit about some of the upcoming.
Well, we have one final prize to give away.
Ooh.
It's the T-shirt that Alan's wearing. Not that particular one
Take
because
it off,
he's
Alan.
sweating.
Yeah.
But
woo!
it's one of the ones we have at the table there. So our final question is: we're gonna all imagine if we made contact with aliens. It was one of you. You made contact, and you're gonna say something to the aliens. First contact.
Yeah.
What would you say to that alien? And then Seth will pick his favorite answer,
Ooh.
and you'll get a T-shirt.
Raise your hands high and keep them up so we can.
New phone, who dis?
Ah, I like that. I like
New
that one.
phone,
That
who
was good. That
dis?
was good.
Are you guys good hombres?
Yeah.
Oh, good hombres. A Trump reference.
Send nudes.
Yes.
Pics or it didn't happen.
Ha!
Oh, there we go.
That's
That's
good
a nice
too.
one. Any? Oh, we have one up there, maybe?
One
No?
more?
No, that was somebody just. That's a forearm I saw in the darkness.
I don't know it. To Nick to something. Baraka.
All right. Alien, I need a dictionary for that one. Anybody else have any ideas? What would you say in first contact with an alien?
I'd just say habla español, right? And I'd just like see if they
Press 2.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be like para información en español,
Like,
marque
oh,
ocho,
shit.
right?
I don't speak the right language.
Yeah, there
Any
you go.
others?
Oh, any
Dr.
other
Ian
ones?
back,
Any-
I would just say hello.
Oh, simple and sweet.
All right, Seth, what do you think? What's the best answer?
Well, none of these is any good.
What's your answer? What's your answer, Seth? What's your answer?
What you say to them?
Yeah, what would be the
Hey,
first
well, to
thing?
begin with, it doesn't matter. I mean, think about it, right? Right? You're in the Caribbean. It's 1492. These ships come over the horizon. Hey, what are we going to say to them, Bob? Well, I don't know. Let's say Klaatu Barada Nikto. No, why don't we just say, hello or something? It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter.
Because they're going to take your shit anyway.
Yeah, they're going to kill you
And
anyway.
have a bogus holiday. That's what's going to happen. Like, instead of Columbus Day, we'll have Alien Oppressor Day, and that's going to be fucked up, man.
So Seth, out of our all the answers
hail
that.
ants.
Well, I go for the elegance of simplicity.
Yeah.
So that's that guy.
Hello, big round of applause.
Awesome.
What size do you wear?
Size shirt.
Is that the Adele version or the Lionel Richie version? That's what I want to
Hello.
Hello? Or
Small. We'll get you a small
We'll get you a small.
after the show. There we go. Our
And
alien greeter.
let me give a little bit of an idea about these shirts. So what we do every month is we go out and feed food insecure people near the Tenderloin and near the Civic Center. And so these shirts say Science, Comedy, Humans. And then on the back of some of them, you have the option to get Smarty Pants on the back. The shirts are $20. They'll be available right there. And we will be feeding food insecure people. So please do contact us via email if you would be interested in joining us. Our upcoming shows are November 22nd, December 30th, or December 20th, my apologies. Those are both Tuesdays. And then January 19th, we heard back from Sketchfest.
Yay, congratulations. That's awesome.
We'll be involved with Sketchfest at the California Academy of Sciences. And so stay tuned for our next guest scientists. Here's a little bit of contact information about us.
First contact.
So
Say hello.
Do say hello, please.
Hello.
And we'd like to thank you, comedians.
Yes, thank the
you so
comedians.
much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Excellent job. Remember to catch them. Punchline. Martha, you have your political show at the Punchline as well.
And in Oakland, just go to diacomedy.com or Google Indian female comedian. There's 3, so you'll find us.
Yeah, and you can find out all you need to know about the Maniac Bull show at Twitter at Maniac Bull.
Maniac Bull.
Yeah, Maniac Bull. And so come out and see the Maniac Bull show.
Awesome.
And Seth, do you have any upcoming events?
Any shows,
Any
Seth?
shows? Any stand-up shows?
Big
you wanna-
Picture Science?
Well, Big Picture Science, yeah, just bigpicturescience.org, or just search for it, Big Picture Science. You can download it, you can listen on the air, whatever.
And thank you, Seth.
Thank you, Seth Sostek, everybody. Hopefully, you've been illuminated and enlightened.
Thank you
Alien
guys
Search.
so much
Thank you, everyone, for coming out.
We appreciate it greatly. If you had
Thank
a good
you.
time,
Come
tell
see
a
us
friend.
again.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you, everybody. Great one.